If I think about my time at Jesuit High School, I am extremely grateful for an institution, but more importantly, it's the individuals in that institution, namely here Dick Gedros, to take a risk on a young 21-year-old kid and give me the honor, privilege, opportunity to work with generations of young people and their parents, to have a small impact on their lives. It's had a huge impact on mine. It's had an impact on my family. I had 2 sons come through, and it's not that everything always works out great, but in the end, I really believe I've been where I was supposed to be. So, my name's Tom Rothenberger, and I got hired at Jesuit High School in 1982. I was a 21-year-old, right out of college, out of Boise State University. I got interviewed by a couple of people. Father Pat Kinney, he was the president of the school at the time. I was a collegiate athlete, and they had a position open to be the head cross-country coach. So I had a nice talk with him. He wanted to talk lots of track stuff, about my collegiate career, that sort of thing. And then I met Father Robinson. And Father Robinson there was a position open in American government. Father Robinson came in and says, "Can you teach American government?" "Yes, Father, I can." "Okay." Out he goes. That's all he asked me was, could I do it? And then I met Dick Gedros. And Dick Gedros was the athletic director at the time. And I'm super grateful they took a risk on a 21-year-old kid. And later on, Dick will, be very proud of things that get accomplished later on. But it took a while for that stuff to happen. 6, 7 years into your teaching and coaching career, you're working hard. We're getting our butts kicked sports-wise. We're not having a lot of success. It took 9 years for me to qualify a team to the state meet. The first 9 years we did. And I experienced 18 runners in front of our first runner in a league dual meet in cross country. And that school remained nameless. And I experienced a track meet where we lost 124 to 21. I have that photo still in my office at home to remind me. When we go co-ed, I get the opportunity to create a women's program, which was I'm from a family of 9. I have 5 older sisters. But now take on the challenge to create a women's program. And I kind of let the school know this is going to grow. It's going to grow quickly. And so I had grown the program. When I came, the track team had maybe 20 kids on it, the whole track team. And there were like 7 or 8 cross-country kids. And by the time we reached the late 80s and into the 90s, we had grown 75, 80 kids, almost 100. We had a couple of transformational athletes that were in the program in the early 90s. Before we went co-ed, so we began again to continue to grow. But once we went co-ed, we went from 100 to 200 plus. And we'll eventually reach 409 athletes 1 year. I was asked once in a coaching clinic, what advice would I give to a young coach? And I would say, don't draw conclusions too fast. Don't think you've got it figured out too soon. And then don't be down on yourself too soon. Be open and then just keep getting better. And if you want to get better and you want to become good at your craft, you can. And to coaches, I would say, anybody who puts you down because you coach and you teach, just let it run off your back. It's at every academic institution. There are going to be people who look down, oh, you coach, okay. And somehow you must not be a good teacher. And that's not going to be further from the truth. You got to perform well in the classroom at a Jesuit institution in order to be successful in the field. if you're a classroom teacher. Doesn't mean that you can't be passionate about your sport, but ultimately your success in the classroom is going to come down to doing the work and building that rapport. What advice would I give a new teacher coming into our environment, or any environment? But I think back to a professor I had in college at Boise State. He goes, if you don't hear anything I say to you the rest of the semester, if you realize that the rapport, if you're able to connect with students, you will be a successful educator. If you don't, it makes no difference what you know, how knowledgeable you are in your field, you won't be successful. And that has held true. You have the opportunity, privilege, whatever the word you want to use, to connect with individuals, and then stay connected as their lives move on. A community like Jesuit, those connections tend to live on, I guess. But there are a couple of moments along the way that kind of epitomize some of that. I'll give one story. In the year that I had my cardiac arrest, when I had to go in for open heart surgery, and that morning when you go in, I remember I took a photo of myself at 4 o'clock in the morning at the house. I thought it could be my goodbye photo. It might be my last one. They tell you we can't guarantee anything. So you're dealing with your mortality, and you've survived this event. So you're nervous, and you go in, and they prep you, and you're, as they wheel you down to the operating room, they wheel me in, and they put you next to here, and you're on this, bed that they're going to slide you off when they operate. There's a heart-lung machine. You see all this stuff, and your anxiety's going up a little bit. And I look over, and I see a yellow Post-it note. And it says, "Coach, I'll be here when you wake up. Lindsay." And it was from a young lady who graduated in the late 90s, 96, 97. Lindsay Court was her maiden name. And she was there when I woke up. And so in your fragility, in your facing your limitations, there comes this community back to support you. And if I could say, I could go down the list of more and more names. And it's part of the blessing of being part of a community like this. I would say one of the most important reasons why I've stayed this long at Jesuit High School is the presupposition of goodwill. If something happens on this campus, we need to continue to believe the person did it for a good reason. I may disagree with them, but their intent was good. I don't start with those challenges assuming somebody meant ill until it's been proven to me otherwise. That, I think, it's not like what the world does. It's not what happens outside here. And that creates that safety, that creates that ability to have the conversation. If I assume you mean well and we have a disagreement, let's listen, let's communicate, I'll probably grow and you might grow in our conversation. But if I start off like, oh, they did that for, an ulterior motive, the main thing is the main thing. We're here to teach. We're here to help young people grow in their faith, in their knowledge set, in whatever skills and passions they have. Help them find a passion. For a 14, 15-year-old, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Do it in an environment where they could take those risks and they can feel safe in taking those risks. And maybe they change when I want to go a different direction. It's okay. It should be that safe space to create exploration and learning. They're not going to remember everything I taught them in freshman world history, and that's okay. They'll remember a couple of things. But if they come away feeling it's okay to take a risk, it's okay for them to, maybe they take a risk and they're wrong. Maybe they try to run a certain race and it doesn't work out, but maybe that's okay. It's creating, because we all learn from those mistakes. We all learn from those risks that we take. So that's what I would encourage, is for us to, as a community, to continue to assume goodwill. And I have that occasionally you'll get moments of clarity in life or in a career. And I remember one summer, oh gosh, I must be not quite 20 years into, so I may be almost 4 years old. I'm on a field. There's 100 kids at a summer camp that I'm putting on. My 2 children are over here demonstrating drills. I guess that's what I was meant to do. I just had that moment of clarity. And, it's not going to set the world on fire. It's not going to, solve world problems, but I'm making a difference in these young people's lives. And that's come back. So, my advice would be find that passion and lean into it. You're going to have people here that may not have that same, and they may not understand. Don't be hurt by that. Just continue to lean into it. If you're genuine and lean into it, and if you show up every day, people will value it. There weren't that many people who valued track and field in 1985. But eventually they see that you're serious about it, you're passionate about it, and the number of lives that are affected by it. I remember when we grew that large, we would have 7 busloads of kids. I remember going to McMinnville High School. McMinnville used to be in our league, so this is a league meet. You pull up with the 7 buses of kids, and I'm just focused on, got to get there, got to get the first relay, how are we going to do? It's a pivotal event. And as I'm walking, and oddly enough, they had just a small gate that we had to get all these kids through. I mean, it's not like a big open field that they can cross. So we're trying to get them through there. And there's a gentleman by the name of H.D. Waddell, who's the wrestling coach. And we'd known each other from Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And he catches me and he pulls me to the side. He goes, "Berger, come over here." And he pulls me to the side. He says, "Turn around and watch." And all these, 350 kids are coming off these buses. And he says, "Look how many lives you're able to touch. Look what God's done." And then, and for any of us as teachers, if you think of numerically, if you're teaching 5 classes and you got 130 or 40 kids every year, you have a lot of lives to touch, and you will make a difference if you just realize how valuable you are.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
It's great. I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.